Welcome to Who Dinks Wins from the Special Pickleball Service with me, Coach Beresford.
Me, Coach Phillip.
Oh, and me, Coach Montgomery.
Nice.
Who are you?
As ever, we welcome drop-ins. Email us at specialpickleballservice@gmail.com. This week, we want to resolve an argument raging in the pickleball community. What's best, playing indoors or outside? Weather aside, we're going to put an end to the debate once and for all by asking the question, are you an innie or an outie?
Have you genuinely not heard
Honestly,
people say that? So that
nope.
you get people that are dead into playing at places like the Hub, and they're obviously all inside.
Yeah.
And then there's places like the Bay that everybody's playing at. I never or very rarely see the same people.
Interesting, yeah. No,
Very
I haven't come
rarely
across
see the
this.
same
Maybe it's
people.
just the people I haven't.
Well, actually, there's a lot of people who play at the Bay in the summer and then go back to the Hub in the winter because
like
it's
snowbirds.
It's too hot. It's just too hot. Only because the Hub haven't invested in air conditioning. I'm sure the place up in San Francisco that used to be the aircraft hangar, I think that's got air conditioning. I'm sure that's better, but generally people find it too hot in the summer indoors.
So, I mean, there is obviously the weather argument, isn't it? I mean, if in places like England, there's a lot of sports halls that are converting into pickleball. For the obvious reason that it rains so much that it's so dependent on good weather that you can't play. But what we find, even playing outside in the winter, we turn up to those courts outside. And we go to great lengths. And when I say we, I mean Javier. He goes out with the roller.
Yeah.
So he's just finished a downpour. He'll go out there with a roller and then squeegees the court. Spends 20 minutes getting it all dry. We'll even get towels and clean and sort of dry up the lines, just in case there's any residue on the lines, because that's the most fatal thing. Hoping for a weather window of 25 minutes. Yeah. And sometimes you get 25 minutes. Sometimes you get an hour, and then another downpour. Right, and then they go inside again, have a beer, and then when it stopped raining, they do the whole process again. Yeah. And it takes about 20 minutes to dry. So the point I'm making is, in a society where you think that someone could probably afford 2 memberships, like the Bay Club and the Hub, they don't. They want to play outside so much that they'll have just be dedicated to playing outside.
Is there some truth in that? Because we're English and we're used to foul weather, the novelty of playing outside all year long is such a great draw. I think it is.
Well, of course. I mean, we're sort of pretty much weather obsessed, aren't we? And if the weather's good, we tend to go out. And there's also another insight. I mean, about mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. You often find it's you and me that all the sensible Californians are in the shade somewhere. Yeah, we're outside with a sort of tea towel around our heads and.
I had this yesterday during the Duper thing. I've forgotten her name. Anyway, Asian lady was in the shade and she was saying, "Why are you out in the sun during the change?" So, I forgot. I'm English, and as soon as we get some sun in England, we go like that. We sort of like get straight out and sort of like, because we never see the sun normally, that golden globe in the sky. But it's not a novelty here. You'd have to stay in the shade more for sure.
Curiously, it's actually hotter in London at the moment than it is in Los Gatos.
I know.
Right?
Yeah. My kids are coming out next week, and they're leaving the
hot weather to come to California.
Yeah, I know, it's hilarious. But also, I mean, talking about innie and outies, a difference. Obviously, we'll talk about the wind, the ball.
Yeah.
Generally, indoor courts are purpose built.
Yes.
So the courts are so much better.
So what you're saying is some of the courts that we play on, for example, are just converted tennis courts.
They're just converted tennis courts, and that makes it very, very hard on the joints. Whereas the Hub, for instance, not trying to advertise the Hub because it has some problems as well, I believe, is the courts are so much better because they're purpose built. I think they're built on sand and rubber and certain layers, so you bounce around, injuries are less.
Much more forgiving on the joints.
Much more forgiving. So that is a big advantage of an indoor court.
And that's not all indoor courts, though, is it? I mean, that's just probably the Hub.
Some use gym floors, which are the worst that you could possibly imagine.
It's just concrete, I suppose.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's that shiny sort of wood, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like we play basketball, that's quite hard on the limbs as well, isn't it? Basketball, so you'd think it might be more forgiving than a tennis court. But
well, a wooden court should be more forgiving than a cement court because
I find that the worst.
Some of them are sprung floors, like in workout areas, where the floors are actually suspended slightly, so they take even more of the shock out.
Yeah, I found the Tingle courts one of the best. They're not so much a gap at the back. Oh yeah,
that's a
they're made out of plastic
cement,
tiles.
and then with the tile on top, which can be grippier.
Yeah.
Because they've got little knobbly things on there.
But you do get free drink. That's the good thing about the Tingle courts.
But also,
is it free though?
But they can be a little cushy because of that. There's an element of plastic in there that will give a little bit. But for sure, playing like yesterday when you and I were playing in that round robin, one court I played on, it was at the end actually when I switched courts, because I drop the ball when I serve, I've always got to stand in a certain spot on one of them because of the cracks coming all the way through, right?
Yeah.
I can't bounce it there because the bounce is
any news
consistent.
on when they're going to resurface the courts? Is there any developments
They've
on
only
that?
just relatively recently done it.
That was only a year ago.
I want to say it's probably more like 18 months. I thought.
Yeah.
Wow.
So but it's California, right? So outside there's earthquakes all the time, so things are moving.
Earthquakes all the time. I've been here 3 years, not been an earthquake.
Yeah, there's been earthquakes every day since you've been here. You just haven't felt them.
Right.
All
okay.
the 2.2s and 2.4s are all going off all the time. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
It's just the bigger ones you haven't lived through yet. But
the 2.2s that you don't feel those. No, I don't.
Barely.
You probably just thought it was wind.
Yeah, so a tennis court that's converted to pickleball courts, and normally you can get 4 pickleball courts on one tennis court, then that's a really pretty hard surface most of the time. Yeah. It's not as good for your joints. This is where we want to have better shoes, maybe not play as often or for as long each time.
Because you imagine the movement in tennis. If you did the same movement in tennis as you do in pickleball, you would be running at 100 miles an hour all the time, wouldn't you? I mean, it's you're running bigger steps, and you're not stopping and starting as much in tennis as you are in pickleball. So
correct.
Those courts are no good really for pickleball, really.
Well, they're not ideal.
They're not
the ideal situation.
Yeah, but they're not purpose built for pickleball.
No, I know.
So it goes to that point we talked about in a previous episode, where is it better for people to be playing the sport and enjoying the sport and getting health benefits from doing it and running the risk that they might get injured because it's not as good a surface as it might be, rather than not playing it at all. And
but we're talking about the difference between indoor and outdoor. You're more likely to get better courts indoor. That's what we're saying.
Only if they're purpose-built.
Otherwise they're converting a warehouse that has completely cement
That's
floors.
unusual though. You'd expect a new indoor court to be purpose-built, wouldn't you? That suddenly arrives on the scene. They're not going to take over an old...
Well, so sports halls in England, right? So where my mum plays down in Robertsbridge, there's a really, really nice sports hall. I think it might be next to a school or something, but it is a perfect sports hall. It's got lots of markings down for different sports. But the crucial difference between what I experienced at the hub and what I experienced there is light. So that they've got sort of daylight floodlights that come down, so you feel like you're outside. So the light is perfect. With the hub, I still feel it's kind of retail lighting rather than it is probably sports lighting, and there is a profound difference to that. And that was great fun. But clearly, we go back to what we're talking about. The difference between playing indoors and outdoors with us, with the UK, it's just difficult to play anything outside and not be affected by the weather. So whether that be football, rugby. You can play football, rugby in whatever weather, right? I'm sure you remember orange footballs, right? So there was a bit of snow. That one orange football in the school locker room somewhere would come out because there's snow on the ground.
Because we're still playing the sport.
I love those orange footballs. I think they probably stop these days. The kids are so soft, aren't they? Bit of snow comes down. It's like, all right, kids, inside before you get cold.
I mean, maybe, you might be right. Yeah.
Don't want to get sued.
We played.
You talk about in England, do you?
Yeah, in England.
Yeah. Is there as much suing going on there now?
I have no idea.
Not as much as here, no, I don't think. But you were talking yesterday about going out and having to push the ice down into the ground before starting to play football.
Back in the day when I was playing rugby was my main sport until I moved to our sport, football, soccer. And but then I grew up in a very rural area down in Devon, southwest England. A lot of farming communities, a lot of farms, and so some of the teams I played on we'd actually have to shoo the cows off the field.
But wasn't that distracting, seeing your girlfriends on the side of the pitch?
So we'd have to shoo.
That was the sheep.
We have to shoo the cows off the field first, and then you're playing in muddy, awful fields. But then other times, like we talked about, is like when you were playing at school on a frosty morning. It had frozen overnight, but of course it rained the day before. So there were lots of puddles of fairly thick ice, and then you're playing your sport like rugby on that, where you're hitting the ground a lot. And I remember getting cuts on my legs.
I remember slide tackling and just like pulling out loads of ice, coming up, and your legs are bleeding from all the cuts. Unbelievable, wasn't it? We was hard in those days. We had to lick up the road every day.
Well, the other thing, do you remember when we used to go across the blacktop? We didn't call it blacktop. What did we call it at school? The hard surface, outside the changing rooms that you walk across to get to the fields. Was there a name for that?
I can't remember. It was just tarmac, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was tarmac. We used to use that word a lot.
You used to crunch across them.
But your studs on your rugby boots or football boots were metal, and if you slid along the blacktop, whatever, tarmac, then they would sharpen up.
They would,
and the edges would get all really sharp.
But they were screw-ins.
Yes,
and they were plastic. But underneath, once you got rid of the plastic, they became metal.
Oh,
and that's when you could tackle someone and take their legs apart.
But I had the metal ones before they introduced the plastic ones as well. So,
right.
I had those as well.
Yeah, because rugby players' boots, their studs were much, much longer than football players' boots.
Well, the four at the back were particularly long.
Yeah.
And then the ones at the front were a little bit shorter. But I remember filing down my
that's
rugby
what they do
boots.
In rugby, yeah.
But
nice.
not to make it to smooth it.
Right.
So to take
course.
that sharp bit
burr
off,
off.
to smooth it. Because I could be kicking my own ankles. I was running and cutting myself up.
Yeah.
My
kids
socks
don't know
were
they're born these days, do they? And we used to play also. We're talking about football now, but we should get back to pickleball in a minute.
It does help a pickleball court. But bringing this back to sort of another question about this is the attitude towards sport from a British mentality or English mentality and an American mentality. American mentality completely different. So I don't know whether you've watched it. The show on, I think is it on Netflix, about Birmingham City. So Birmingham City is a soccer team, football team in the UK, and they've taken on Tom Brady, or Tom Brady's taken it on.
Yeah, he's bought them.
And he bought them.
He bought them, and he's bringing his professionalism into a team that is just no good.
It's quite incredible.
The contrast between the attitude of what was Wayne Rooney, who's obviously an English icon. He was a great player, phenomenal talent, but probably a mediocre manager, if you ask me, to someone like Tom Brady, whose attitude about winning is completely different and what it takes to be a winner. You should watch it. It's amazing.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I have watched it. I watched the whole series. It's absolutely amazing.
I treated practice like it was the Super Bowl.
He goes into the changing room at one point and says to the team, "You all think you're a bit of a joke. It's like, it's typical Birmingham City. I don't want to hear that ever again. What you will say is, Birmingham City are winners. I want to win. I want to be in the Premier League. My target is playing against Aston Villa within 3 years. That's his target. That's all he cares about. Being in the Premier League in 3 years." And the guy's so determined, and his professionalism is unbelievable. I wonder whether people we play against, Americans we play against here, have been bred that type of professionalism as well.
I think they have a sort of a desire to win that's much more omnipresent for them than it is for us. It is a cultural thing.
It's about taking part for us generally, isn't it? If you're not a professional,
it's not about the winning;
cricket,
it's the taking part.
And I was always told gentlemen always come second. And that's why England have probably failed at so many. They've got to so many finals, haven't they, at football?
Different. Yeah,
and they've got there and they think they've won, but just because they got to the final, if they come second, well, we've done all right. That's kind of the attitude.
Whereas in America, you manifest your, you think what it's like to be a winner, how it would feel, and that will hopefully come true. There's a lot more of that going on.
I'm presuming that's all part of their training at high school. I don't know. I haven't been to high school. Jackson would know more than me.
Well, the kids are
they bred this
sort of self-confidence? Yeah, they bred a sort of belief in themselves. I mean, from sort of really early ages, they're asked to go off and do a soapbox, so they get on and do a presentation to the entire class, right? So it would have been unthinkable for 10-year-old, 11-year-old to do that in England. The confidence that you need to do that. So they're bred this confidence. They're bred a sort of hunger to succeed. And also, I think that things just aren't handed to you. So you don't just get success. You have to be successful, and apply yourself in everything that you do. So there is definitely a different winning mentality.
If you're no good at sport in that sort of environment, it must be awful.
Well, you go and do band. So many aspects to sport here.
Are you still taught that sort of determination even if you're no good at sport?
Well, yes, because it's about the rounded individual. But here, for example, a football match isn't just about the football players. You've got the cheerleaders, and that's, by the way, men and women now. And then you've got band. Right. So band will walk out with the team. So there's a whole school community thing that's going on there. But they all have that, that we got to be the best cheerleaders. We got to be the loudest band and the most sort of professional sounding band, and that football team's got to win. So it's I think it's instilled in them.
I love that aspect when I moved here, that the Friday night high school football team go out there and they're playing in a stadium, and there's so many people there watching, and they do all of this and they're so proud of it, and they're playing against another school or something. But I don't remember anything like that.
That's incredible. No, of course we didn't have any of that. But at what point do you, when you become an adult, stop that winning at all costs attitude? Because it's a bit pathetic, isn't it? If you have that attitude playing in a friendly game, say up at the Bay, you've got to kind of reel it in a bit, haven't you?
I don't think so. I think there's a desire to. No, I think that our American friends have a real desire to win. They feel disappointed if they haven't, or if they've gone off top court, they've got to go down. There is a sense of competition. So
I haven't noticed that so much. I mean,
I just don't think you maybe has played as much as we have, maybe. But
I mean, a lot of people at the Bay are just there to have fun and see some friends and have a good game, really, rather than win at all costs.
I don't think it's win at all costs. I mean, but there is a sense of, if I have to smash it at them and body bag them in order to win that game, I'm going to do it.
I have been surprised with the amount of tactics. I think we spoke about this before, but tactics that people are like. Let's say you and I are playing, and we start a game with somebody else down the other end, and you see one guy go to the other end, go, let's fire it at blah 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 because of blah, blah. Whereas you and I are like, let's just. We're not playing
to crush them, are we?
Or the weaker player or anything like that, which I am hugely against in rec play. In tournaments, maybe if you're trying to win it, but in rec play, my goal is to play the game, play a game well, and enjoy it. And yes, I don't want to be humiliated, but I don't mind losing if it's a good game.
Just say what you're saying again.
Okay, what was that? After I've scored a goal, really? I go back through it and think, what happened in it? Because I won it, and then at night I think about it when I'm falling asleep. I go back and think through the goals I do that.
Really? Eh?
Yeah, it helps me fall asleep. Actually,
right, that's good. That's a good
part
idea.
of it.
These aren't own goals, are they? These are proper.
No,
goals.
these are probably.
Because
goals,
when you're taught professionally, you're taught to, when you miss, go over that in your mind.
Right.
And think as if you'd
what
scored.
You would have.
No, as if it had gone in.
Oh,
you're always if you miss, you can hit just the outside of the post. You're taught to imagine if it had gone in, and next time it will go in.
Okay,
it's quite interesting psychology.
Quite American thing, I think.
Yeah, well, there's taught in England, so But yeah, the difference is, I'm interested in the difference. Because
so then, is there a difference between, to bringing it back to our overriding question then, is there a difference then between the mentality of people that are playing indoors versus the people playing outdoors? Are they a little bit more serious indoors?
Well, my own experience is that everyone was much more serious at the hub than they are at the Bay indoors. That only happens to be the hub. That might be different somewhere else, but people were full on there all the time.
Well, the people that go to the hub are only there to play pickleball, right? Yeah, that's all they paid for. So they are full into it. Whereas at our club, they're also there for other things.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Tennis and basketball and working out and swimming and family and exercise and classes.
That's true. And also, there's the beer community at the club, rather than say at the hub. You might go to a bar afterwards if you've had a great game or something.
But don't you think, because the sport of pickleball at a professional level is equally played inside as outside. Like
It is,
the
you're
final
right. That's a
games,
good point.
Depending on where they are in the country or the temperature, they could be played inside.
And
outside.
if you're
so
in a
these
stadium,
pros,
it's even more unpredictable, isn't it, with all the airflow and stuff?
Yeah,
So that's a good point.
The pros are playing in whatever. So, whereas in soccer, you're always outside, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
But then when you play five-side, you play inside, so it's a slightly different.
Unless you're
thing.
in Iceland, they've got more indoor pitches than the whole of Great Britain. All their pitches are inside because the weather's so bad. So it all depends. But I'm interested to know, what do you think the difference is between playing indoor to outdoor?
So I've played,
Equipment,
that's a lot.
The ball's different.
The ball's okay. So let me just go back to the light a minute. So when I played at the Hub, I really found it difficult with
Struggle with the
lighting.
light, yeah.
Do you feel that?
Yeah.
I did.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, right,
Massively.
okay. But when I go out and play outside, the sun is always, it's never in the same place, right? It seems to keep moving.
Yeah.
So the hat that I'm wearing and the sunglasses and the sweat and all that, I don't have any of that when I go inside and play.
No.
I don't need to deal with any of that.
You don't have to deal with the sun that much outside, though, do you? It's only when it's dipping around sort of 5 o'clock and it's there, or when the ball's in the air and you're trying to do a volley. They're the only two times you really have a problem with the sun.
But you don't get sunscreen going into your eyes.
That stings.
When you play
Yeah.
inside, when you need that for outside.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
And you don't have the wind blowing the ball, which is so noticeable in pickleball when you're playing inside.
That's a very good point also that I've read somewhere. The refraction of the light, now this is getting slightly
Technical.
the refraction of the light with sunglasses distorts where the ball is.
Yeah.
And that particularly is affected by people who wear lenses. That the refraction of the light really doesn't help you when you're wearing lenses. Now I don't know if there's any truth in that, but apparently you're better off wearing protective glasses with lenses than you are wearing sunglasses, but that's open to debate.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I wear contact lens in one eye, and I perform better if I don't have
Is
that.
that because you're a
contact
pirate?
lens. Yes, and so I perform better without that, and I definitely perform better with a certain pair of sunglasses than the other
It's interesting.
other ones on. But you don't need any of that unless you want the protectiveness when you play indoors, right?
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, just need.
You don't need sunglasses. You don't need a hat. You don't need to worry about the wind blowing.
Have you ever tried? Do you wear lenses when you play?
Yeah.
So have you ever tried with contact? So you wear contact
I
lenses?
never
or
wear
you
contacts. I'm talking.
Have
like
you tried
lenses.
contact lenses?
No.
I'd be interested to see. You should compare. See what.
I hate putting things in my eye.
I do as well.
I just can't bring myself to do that.
Have you got? I'm getting spec. I'm going to be brilliant now. I've got a pair of bifocals on order because apparently that really helps. It has helped football. Bifocal lenses has really helped football because you're seeing the ball close and far away.
Yeah.
Bifocal lenses are going to help me play pickleball a lot apparently because you can see the ball here.
But-
and you see the,
you're going to
long
have
distance.
an absolute nightmare.
I don't
Only
know.
people with bifocals are apparently really struggle with because the ball comes at you so fast.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Because I've not found that in soccer ball at all.
Well, that's because there's huge distance between you and the ball.
I've wasted a load of money on
Well,
some new lenses.
I have
I'll
experienced
see how it
this.
turns out.
I've
Go on
experienced
then.
this because I have single contact lens, which is
Yeah.
basically this eye with a contact lens in it
Yeah.
deals with everything close. If I didn't have that in, this would all be fuzzy.
So have you got
and then
one eye
my
that needs it more than the other, or you just?
no, this is how it can be done. So
Oh, right, okay.
So if you can see good distance, right, no problem without any contact, any help, then you can do this. So I could see good distance. So this eye does all the distance work. This eye has a contact lens in and does all of the close-up work. So
Right. I just like to say at this point, we don't want to be sued if loads of people start walking around in circles and bouncing into each other, taking your advice.
and then your brain
This is your view, not ours.
and then your brain adapts for the in between. So to begin with, the first few days it was all a bit blurry in the middle, but then I've done it for a couple of years now, and now it all works very well. It's not as good as having glasses on both for close, but it's good enough.
I
So
didn't know that.
it's sort of what bifocal
Do you do that with
is.
football as well?
Yeah, I mean I wear it
You wear just one lens for football as well?
all for everything. Yeah,
For everything?
Yeah. Oh, for my whole life. Yeah. I mean, right now
I didn't know that was a thing.
it's a thing.
So the ball though, the
Yes.
ball is different inside, isn't it?
The ball is different for inside and outside. The ball for inside is the same size, but it has, I think it's 26 holes that are bigger, and it's a harder ball. I'm sorry, it's a softer ball. I think they weigh the same. Do they weigh the same?
I think one's slightly marginally heavier than the other to cope with the conditions.
The outside ball has more holes, but they're smaller. It has 40 holes and they're smaller. Apparently, so it doesn't get blown around as much, but we're struggling to work out exactly why.
Yeah, because we had this debate the other day, and we were I thought it was less holes on the inside balls.
Yeah,
more holes on the outside balls, just to stop wind resistance.
Yeah, that would make sense.
It has more on the outside. It does have more.
Yeah.
For the outside, but they're smaller. And what they're saying is they take the holes are drilled to reduce the weight of the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The holes are smaller so that the wind can't blow inside the ball and move it as much. So it's like having a ball with no holes in, which should travel better than a ball with holes in.
What
but
about
it would be
having
heavy.
a ball with no holes at all?
It would be too heavy.
Would it?
I
But
think
it's
that's
the
the
outside, and the inside was drilled out. It was just the outside.
Sure.
Would that
It's
be
not
still
going to be
too
a
heavy?
bowling ball, is it?
Well, it's not. No.
No, I
That
think
might
it would be
hurt quite a
too.
lot.
I think
Yeah.
it'd be too
cricket
too
ball.
heavy.
Yeah.
So I think that's the difference, because you often see people playing outside with the inside ball, and the reason not to do that is because it supposedly will get blown around a lot more. It won't bounce the same amount. It'll wear out more quickly on an outside surface. And you won't get the same bounce that you get from a regular ball. And since most people are playing with an outside ball when they're outside, if you start learning with an inside ball, it's going to be hard to transition to playing with an outside ball, which is what everyone else is doing.
But presumably you'd be playing indoors with that ball. It's truer, isn't it, than outside? I mean, it's not very windy here very much, but there's always a slight breeze. Do you think that needs to be taken into account? I mean, not where you train, because that's completely secluded, isn't it? They've put across the fence. There's no wind coming through there at all.
Well, wind comes in, but not how you would expect it to. And also, if you're to do a lob and it goes higher than the fence, anything can happen because the wind will affect it. But definitely outside, you are playing to the conditions. So if it's slightly damper, or if it's super hot, bit of breeze, so you can change your serve, for example, some of the shots that you do according to the wind. So,
I love that.
Yeah,
I
I
love
really
that.
enjoy that.
Yeah,
I love the freedom of that. If we could introduce a different rule to pickleball, what would it be? You said one about the second shot or something, wasn't it?
I said, wouldn't it be fun if, like, during a game, just once, you could pass to your partner before hitting
per
it?
point, do you think, or is it just
Once in a game, I think.
once in a game?
And then you said, Phil, probably that'd be good fun in a drill rather than a game. Might be in a drill, it might be good fun.
Maybe no. I think it would be good to play a tournament or a round robin thing where that was the rule. You were allowed to pass it. I think to actually play for an hour and a half.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Where you could pass
a bit like volleyball,
yeah,
sort of thing. You know, prime someone at the
I've
net.
never done
great
it.
Fun.
I think it sounds great idea.
Yeah, we should do that one day.
I introduced for the first time. Did you call it Dinkle?
Yeah, Dinkle.
Dinkle. So Dinkle is where you do a dinking game. So two partners, one on each side, or two on each side, both dinking.
Yeah.
So two balls going diagonally. Then as soon as one hits the net or goes out, you shout Dinkle and you play the live ball. And then what you do is you carry on dinking, or you do a lob, or you do something different. And
It turns into a game.
It turns into you sort of gamify a drill, which I can't stand drills, but I thought this was
we
really.
did that today. We went backwards and forwards 4 times.
Yeah.
And then played.
Oh right, yeah.
Is that similar? Yeah.
but-
So we dinked it 4 times. You couldn't start until it had dinked 4 times, and then you played a normal game.
Uh-huh.
That was
That's
quite
another way of
fun.
doing it, yeah.
Okay, it was quite difficult to get used to. That was, but
What's counting for
yeah.
you?
So I like the idea of doing sort of a volleyball style pickleball.
It sounds interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It does.
we should call that Peter Dinklage
Peter Dinklage.
or Fair Dinkum.
Fair
Pretend it
Dinkum.
came from Australia.
Yeah, sort of Australian
Yeah.
rules pickleball.
Yeah, but we
Love
could
it.
do other things. I mean, as I've said, I have searched the rules, maybe not thoroughly because I don't like reading much. Got a little bit of going on, and
Laziness.
laziness. Yeah, and there's nothing in the rules to say you can't have 2 paddles. Doesn't say you have to have 1 paddle.
There's got to be.
There isn't. Also, and tennis, it's also the same But also in tennis, it doesn't restrict you on the size of your racket. You could have a racket the size of the court if you wanted to. That wouldn't work. But in pickleball, there's not. Is there a maximum size for a pickleball?
I think there is. I think
Are you
I
sure?
remember seeing
Of a
that.
pickleball
Paddle, yeah.
Well, they're all sort of USA pickleball approved, right? So they can't get this endorsement if they're going to be
outside the size.
wildly outside the
There is
size.
Because if it gets too big, it's going to be too heavy and it's going to be too unwielding. So
And also
there is
difficult to play because it's a paddle, right? So there's a lot of wind resistance there. So if the bigger the head, the more likelihood is you're creating wind resistance.
But have you guys ever played with the tiny paddle? It's like that you can hang off
sweet spot.
of a mirror. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tiny paddle about this big.
Yeah.
And it gets you used to hitting the sweet spot. Have you ever played with one of those?
Yeah.
That's really good
Daniel
fun.
used to have one.
That is
Pretty
really
useful.
good fun. It's about that big.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you play a game with that and it gets you used to hitting the sweet spot
That's
each
a good
time.
idea.
It's a good drill.
That's a great drill.
Well, if anyone can think of any other rules they'd like to introduce.
I think that's a great topic,
this one
isn't it?
here.
We
Yeah,
should have
yeah.
that every week, reading out a new rule would be great. Because the pickleball police are all over this sport, right? They change the rules all the time, and they say, "Oh, hang on, you look like you're having too much fun there, so we'll get rid of that." So they'll probably.
What about overhead tennis serves? What do you think? Would that be
that
terrible thing to do?
So I demonstrate. So people that have never played before, they say, "Why do you serve underarm?" And I get them to go around to the other side. Then I serve a tennis serve at them.
Right.
And
that's why.
Now do you understand?
Right. Yeah.
Right. But I think you would start to read it after a while, and I think you'd get it back. But I think you're absolutely right. I think a tennis serve.
Yeah.
Trialing a tennis serve in
If
a
you
game
wanted
would
that
be,
option, that'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe in singles rather than doubles. You know.
Well, I think doubles. Oh yes, I suppose if you're that close to the net, you're gonna have to duck pretty damn quickly, aren't you?
Because singles is more like tennis than.
But don't you
doubles, isn't
think starting to do that will make it more of an offensive? You could win on your serve every time type thing, and I like the fact that you barely
Professionals
can win
don't even
serve.
bother to do it.
Yeah,
they hit it hard, obviously, but they don't do spin or anything. Nothing too complicated, do they?
And then it's unfair for the person that wins the toss at the beginning if you can serve that hard. So I like the underarm. I think it's a leveler.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that the rule that you can only one of you can serve, to begin with that first time. It gives it stops the advantage of the first serve being so
important.
Heavy. Yeah, right.
And I've got a question. I know we covered outie and innies.
Well, I think we could round up, can't we, at the end about whether we're innies or an outie? But I'd love to hear your question.
Yeah.
It's from Andrea, who peddles these lovely paddles, paddle peddler, and she came up with a very interesting question she'd like to ask us, which is, when someone's serving, obviously when someone steps into the kitchen, you have to point it out very quickly. You stepped into the kitchen, you don't let them off. Well, you can, but when someone serves and steps their foot over the line, what do? Do you tell them immediately they stepped over the line and let them take it again? Or do you wait for about 3 goes and said, look, you've done this 3 times, I've got to mention it? What's your views on people stepping over the line for a service?
Do you want to answer that?
Well, okay, so I think in a rec game, I'm not that concerned about that. And as you know, when we go over to the Tingle's house, you can't serve without stepping into the court.
There's a Tingle facility, you mean?
Yeah, you
Just on
can't
the
serve without stepping in, otherwise your paddle's going to hit the bank.
Right, yeah, you have
to. But you're supposed to self-police it between you and your partner. So I'd say, if I see Barry is stepping in, I would just say to him, you want to watch out because you're just stepping in a little bit when you serve. And I've had people point that out to me, but not the opposition, my teammate.
Right.
It's like when you follow it, when you do it in the kitchen, your teammate is supposed to say, he went in the kitchen on that shot. You didn't notice yourself. So
your teammate's supposed to say that?
Yes.
Fair enough. That's.
It's not so much.
If they're not saying that, and that person's keeps winning serves and steps into the, do you say, look, I just want to tell you, carry on, but you keep stepping over the line?
I think it's
just
really
keep your eye
obvious,
on it.
if it's a big thing. Are you going to win a serve because you're stepping in?
I don't think so. I think it's slightly subjective, but I think that overall, if it's because if depends on who's doing it. If a really good player is doing it that should know better, you might mention it. But if it's someone who maybe is just a little bit more frail or weaker or whatever, I'm going to let it go in rec play.
Yeah.
But if they're constantly killing me on their serve because they are serving above hip height,
point it out.
It's the hip height thing that drives me mad. People that are serving kind of like chest level.
Yeah. If you bounce it, you're going to get away with it, aren't you? That's why I bounce things now. Whereas before I didn't. If you bounce it, you're not going to do that hip thing, are you?
Particularly, you mean it's not going to bounce high enough. Yeah.
Right. So that's.
But back to your point, I like the idea that you don't say anything if it's a newer player during the game, but it is something that you might feel okay to mention afterwards. Just want to let you know.
If they're an old player,
old,
like they, it could be just elderly. Are you going to say anything then, or are you going to let it go?
I think it depends on the personality. Some people would want to know that it's a rule. I would normally say try and stay behind the line when you serve.
Yeah.
You can follow through after you've hit the ball, come into it, it's fine. But
because you sound so petty pointing it out, don't you? Really?
I think so during a game, especially with somebody that's new to the game.
I mean, fair game if they go in the kitchen. I mean, that's fair enough. You point it out. If they want a point by going into the kitchen, you say something.
Even when it's an obvious step in, if their toe just goes over, I don't call that.
Yeah.
Or if they hit it and then run into the kitchen afterwards, do you call that?
I do call that.
Yeah, because that's unfortunate.
You follow through on that. Yeah, but I always call it on myself. I want to make sure that they know that it's same rules, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you can't stand them, of course you just point it out.
I totally agree.
Weaponize it.
There are certain individuals that we call it out every time. Right.
So then,
I hope
rounding
that
up,
answers your question, Andrea.
I hope it does. But also then, boys, are you an innie or an outie, do you think? Well, where do you think you stand on the inside or outside?
I'm always hanging out, for sure. I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about the time you came out as well, Philip.
That's the earring.
I'm an outie, but only because of situation. I think if we had indoor and outdoor courts at our club, I would, and could easily get on either. I would play indoors a lot more than I play
That's
outdoors.
a very good point. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think I'm an outie, but innie curious. So
love that.
I think I'll round off there. So, Who Dinks Wins is broadcast by KCAT TV on Xfinity Channel 15, Los Gatos and Monte Sereno, and kcat.org, and is a great way to reach a local audience right here in the Bay Area. If you want to sponsor the show or an episode and help support the Los Gatos community who make the shows, reach out to us at specialpickleballservice@gmail.com to find out more. You can follow the show on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. Just search Who Dinks Wins, and if you can leave a rating or a comment, we'd super appreciate it. So it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from them.
And goodbye from me. Great. That was a good show. Thanks very much.
Thank you, guys.
Adios.
Adios.
Cheers.